Okay, guys, so before I continue, let me just quickly talk about something. We live in a digital age where you don't even have to petition to a TV channel or a radio channel to get your very own talk show. You can simply create your own podcast. Even your favorite YouTuber has a podcast. But now you might be wondering, I don't know how to edit audio. I don't have money to start, anything. I don't have the budget and everything. But it's actually quite simple if you're considering using the Anchor platform. The Anchor app gives you a variety of tools and a very, very easy way to start your own podcast. And here's the kicker, here's the best thing about it. It is totally free, so you can start your podcast today at any time. And they also help you distribute your podcast across various podcast platforms. So you don't need to go far. You don't need to be an expert to do this thing. You don't need to be a super genius, to learn how everything works. There are tutorials even on the app and online, and even without doing all of that, it is quite easy to get the hang of the controls. So why not just start your own podcast today using the Anchor app?
You know me, who is you? Nobody knows shit about you. But we're gonna solve that today with this episode about you. It's all about you today. They gonna know who you are and what you can do. It's all about you. Hello, Volatile fam. Hello, Fluid Gang. How is every single person, one of you, human being on earth, this living alive today doing? What's that my signature greeting? Yes, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, good whatever time of the day you're listening to this, and welcome to the Volatile Times with Daniel podcast. And today is kind of like a special episode to celebrate a milestone for me. This will be the 15th episode of the podcast. Woo! Yes! And every other hailing kind of something. I'm so grateful to God and my supporters, those in the dream realm and those in the alive realm. Like, sincerely, this podcast started in March, specifically March 27th by 12 p.m. And it has been going on like that every Friday, 12 p.m., every Friday, 12 p.m. And look at it, March, April, May, June, and this is July. That means 5 months, guys. 5 months that I've been doing this. And sincerely, it hasn't been easy so far. It hasn't been easy all the time. Let me put it that way. It has been enjoyable. I've enjoyed it. I won't say I've been proud of every single episode, but it's been good. It's been good. I've met so many people. I've gotten to talk to so many people that I wouldn't have talked to if I didn't start this podcast. I've had so many meetings and consultations with people. Done so many, I've been introduced to an entirely new, different world, and I'm loving it. And I am loving the stress. I am loving the creativeness of it. I am loving the support. You understand? Like, I have people that are listening to me, sometimes talk rubbish and sometimes talk something good. Like, oh my God, I am so thankful. The last episode had about 19 plays. Yeah, 19 plays so far. And, it's that warmed my heart because, sometimes I make these things and I'm like, who exactly is going to be listening to you, boy? Who exactly is going to be listening to you? And I think everybody has that fear. But I've learned to forgive myself. And as I've done that, I've seen that, okay, yeah, people are actually listening, and dude, you're making sense. But anyway, let's get down to the nitty gritty of it. So what's my name? My actual name is Adisa Daniel Oluwaseun, and from that name you can know I am Yoruba. Yeah. Surname is Adisa, first name is Daniel, and then middle name is Oluwaseun. But for most of you that follow me on social media or have heard me talk somewhere, I usually introduce myself as Daniel Briggs Adisa. Let me explain that. Daniel is my first name, obviously. Adisa is my last name, while Briggs is actually a nickname that a friend, Ojalabi Fin, coined for me. And I loved that nickname. Funny enough, when he coined it, he didn't know what the meaning was. I didn't know what the meaning was, but it sounded cool. It sounded fancy. to be a teenager again. It sounded fancy, it sounded cool, so I kept it. You understand? I got rid of all other nicknames. Like I had like 5 other nicknames. I can't even remember all of them. I got rid of all of them, and then I started using that one. And over the years, it has become kind of like an identity. You can call it a brand, if you will. And not too long ago, I found out what the meaning of Briggs was, because I finally got off my ass and googled it. And Briggs meaning was the one who dwells under the bridge. And for me, something kind of clicked there. And as I told somebody, I explained this on my podcast, that's why I'm doing this. Something kind of clicked there, and he said it meant this for me. Daniel was seen as a symbol of wisdom in the Bible, wisdom, dedication, all these kind of things, but wisdom in particular spoke to me. And if you say one who dwells under the bridge or one who dwells by the bridge, and it's almost, when you put that together, Daniel Briggs, is wisdom's bridge. Do you understand? The wisdom that dwells under the bridge, that kind of thing. So like it spoke to me. It spoke to me really, really well. It spoke to me really, really deeply, and I took that as my brand. You understand? The wisdom under the bridge, that kind of thing. So that's what so usually when you see Daniel Briggs, that's what it kind of means. It's just 2 words, but it means so much more. So somebody asked for my age. Well, I'm not sure about my age. I am 23 because I was born December 8th, 1996. So you know when to start sending me gifts and sending me money for my birthday, yeah. So like, so I'm 23 years old. I'll be 24 this year. Glory to God. Thank God for 23 years of life, which half of it I cannot remember anymore. But thank God. So yeah, like, I don't know why some people don't talk about their ages. I get it. I get why some people don't talk about their age, but to me, my age is just an age. It's 23. It's not a total accumulation of my worth. Neither is it a total accumulation of my experiences and choices I've made. It's just a date on the calendar, sincerely. Like, it's like counting 2015, 2016, you understand? So that's basically it. So now let me get to the questions that were asked by you people. Well, not all of you, but some of you. And I'm going to be making a shout out to the ones I chose. Yeah. So, okay. So, this question is from at the Kingdom Journalist. Everybody check her out on Instagram. At the Kingdom Journalist is awesome. Like, I love her content. Like, I don't know, she puts such deep thought into the things she writes, and you might hear them anywhere else, but you might not hear them as fresh as the way she puts them. So that's awesome. She asked this question: where exactly in Nigeria are you from? I'll take this question in 2 ways, as where exactly do I live and what part of Nigeria am I exactly from. I'm from Ogun State. Yes, Ogun State. I think I was born in Lagos. Don't roll your eyes or laugh at me. I was not alive. Sorry, I was not aware when I was born. It's not like as if I had Android phone and Google Maps, to know my location. So don't mind me. But like, I think I was born in Lagos. I never really cared exactly what hospital or where exactly it is I was born, because it just didn't matter. This is not one horror movie where they have to trace back where he was born, and then they realize, he was born in a mental hospital, that's why he's Freddy Krueger. Okay, enough jokes. I'm from Ogun State. Yeah, I live in Ifo, a couple of ways past Sangota, not too far from Abeokuta. If we are going to be talking tribe or that kind of thing, I'm an Egba, obviously. They say I come from Owu. I'm part of the Owus in Abeokuta. If you are confused, so am I. So let's skip that part. Okay, so next question by a favorite podcaster of mine at Pot of Beans. Guys, check her out. Pot of Beans podcast. Her podcast is refreshing, is intuitive, sound is great, and her personality, oh my god, she's so funny. She's so funny and energetic. Like, it's so lovely. So everybody check out at Pot of Beans. She asked this question: what do you do for fun? Well, what do I do for fun? I do a myriad of things for fun, and I don't have. I have specifics. I watch anime. I'm a big anime fan. I watch anime, but more than watching anime, I love reading mangas because it's much more accessible than anime. Sincerely, mangas are kind of like Japanese type comic books. Mangas, manhwas, manhwas. Those three, they are kind of like Japanese, Korean, Chinese type comic books. I read them a lot. Apart from that, I sing. I love singing. people tell me I have a good voice, but well, I have a good voice, no niche, So what else? Yes. What else do I do for fun? Yeah, I love watching series. I love watching all these psychological horror series, some teen drama, because I'm such an emotional wreck. I love watching all these psychological horror series, like Mind Hunters, Hannibal, Dexter. Which one is a recent one? I think Mindhunter is the most recent one I'm familiar with. I love watching all these supernatural series too, like Supernatural, Teen Wolf. I love Gotham. I'm currently watching Gangs of London, and this psychological horror, Servant. Yeah, Servant. I haven't finished that one too. So yeah, I love watching series. I love reading mangas. I love watching animes. I love singing. Sometimes I do reviews for fun. That sometimes, as much as I don't like work, I do reviews for fun. Yeah. So this is part of my own question. What I do for a living? I'm a secondary school teacher currently. I went to school, obviously. I went to Bangkok University. I graduated with a BSc, second class upper in computer information systems. I worked a bit at computer firms, but I love teaching a lot. And doesn't mean that I want to teach at secondary school forever. Doesn't mean I won't, go back to work at a computer firm. But currently I love teaching, and coronavirus has denied me of that. It has denied me of teaching my kids. Give me back my classrooms. Okay. I just can't. I'm tired of doing rants. Like, I have done rants to my friends. I have done rants to I have done rants to every single person that will hear me rant, that at this point I am out of rants concerning the fact that I am not in a classroom teaching right now. And here's the funny thing: when we day work, we they do I want break, I want holiday, but I think the fact that the choice of how long the holiday will last is no longer with us. It's a problem. It's a big problem. But anyway, we move, right? Everybody shout it with me. We move. For the next question, also by the Kingdom journalist, she asks, what motivated you to start podcasting? This is a question I actually didn't prepare for, because I wanted my answer to be fresh out of my mind. And I think the best way to start answering this question is to tell you guys what my focus statement for the podcast is. Because I did a focus statement, and at the Batista, I don't know whether you guys know her, but she's a influencer. She's a content creator. She teaches other content creators, and she's such an amazing person. She helped me simplify things a lot with my focus statement, and it was so amazing to have that session with her. In fact, it wasn't like as if I had to book anything. It was just mails. We just started a conversation, and she's so helpful. She's such a great person. So yeah, let me read to you my focus statement-ish. So, it's kind of like this. Volatile Times with Daniel podcast. So here's the focus statement. It's a podcast on self-development and awareness focused on helping you figure out how to fit in Nigeria as a Nigerian Christian. And it's for those willing to embrace becoming better versions of themselves. And who doesn't like becoming a better version of themselves? And I think so far I've been helpful. I think so far my content has been in line with that. So that is one of the reasons why I started a podcast. But another reason why I started a podcast is I wanted to start something that was mine. I wanted to start something that, wouldn't be too much of a burden, something that I naturally do. And I give advice a lot. I talk a lot. I give advice a lot. I explain concepts a lot. I explain issues a lot. I go to a friend's house and we almost always end up having a deep conversation, not because that was my plan to, but just how I usually drive conversations, you understand? So I decided to do that with the podcast. And lastly, I have all the time in the world. Like, I had all the time in the world, and I decided why not. Although when I wanted to start the podcast and I started recording, I didn't know there was going to be a coronavirus outbreak. Neither did I know that we were going to be at home for this long. So, the quarantine didn't really have anything to do with motivation for it, but it helped. It was part of the pushing thing. So yeah, those are the reasons why I started the podcast. Yeah. So the last question from somebody. Okay, not the last question actually. Second to the last question. By at pot of beans. She asked why volatile, and yeah, why volatile? When I chose the title for the podcast, it wasn't something I thought way too deeply about. This was my reasoning. I'm most likely going to be talking about controversial things here. I'm most likely going to be talking about some things that are maybe mildly uncomfortable. I'm most likely going to be getting people all in their feels. I'm validating their feelings and, sometimes flogging them. And I thought, what word would be perfect to address or describe the emotions you most likely go through with all of that? And first, I thought, vulnerable, but then I was like, nah, too cliche, too oversaturated. So I decided on the word volatile, because I looked at the times we are in, and we are in volatile times. We are in times where, for a long time we couldn't leave our houses at all. For a long time we haven't been able to see most of our friends. We are so conscious of physical contact now. We are so conscious of what we buy. You understand? We are so conscious of where anything has been. We are so conscious of everything at this point in time. And then, with the issues that in racism that occurred this year, the ones before, every single thing, these are volatile times. But beyond how fragile things are, I didn't choose the word volatile just because things are fragile. I didn't choose the word volatile just because bad things are happening. I also chose the word volatile because of how quickly things change. So for me, the word volatile signifies change. It can be abrupt, it can be methodical, but it signifies change, you understand? So when I say volatile times with Daniel, it's more like we are looking at how times are changing and how we ourselves can change with it. That is exactly that is in its entirety everything the podcast symbolizes for me. Changing times and how we change with these times, you understand? And the changes that we should, go with, the changes that we should reject, all those kind of things. Trying to become your better self is purely about change. It's purely about change. Though you have major principles, you are constantly trying to change and improve yourself. Improvement is a kind of change. That is why I chose the word volatile. It's not just to sound fancy. It's not just to sound, hip or differentiate myself away from the crowd. It was a word that spoke out to me and meant so many different things. And which is why I have news for you people. So I have claimed 2 hashtags on Instagram and I think on Twitter. I'm not sure about Twitter. I'm going to start dedicating my time to Twitter also, because usually I just have the app and receive notifications and I don't open it. I don't know why. Anyway, here are the tags. Hashtag the fluid gang. That's the fluid, and then instead of GA, you just spell GENG. The fluid gang, and hashtag volatile with Daniel. Those 2 hashtags are the hashtags for this podcast. And if you're going to be, making any posts that you want the community to see, you want to put your picture, you want to talk about something you learned from one of the episodes, or you just want to use the hashtags for anything, the hashtag the fluid gang is there for you to use. Hashtag volatile with Daniel is there for you to use. They are 2 awesome hashtags. And you might ask, why am I calling members of my community the fluid gang? Well, fluid is neither solid nor liquid, but both. So in other words, it can change its shape. Like I said, sharp, whether abrupt or methodically. So it was just another word that fit in very well with the narrative of volatile. So, if you're a part of this community, you are somebody who is conscious about their change, or even if you are not that conscious about it, you are going through a change. So you are currently fluid. The fluid gang, you guys are awesome. You guys are awesome. And I see this community growing into something big, hopefully. So the last question, see, for everybody that is asking when they are going to be featured on the podcasts yet, because I have a couple of contents already created. Like for next week now, I'm going to be talking about COVID-19 and the moral rots we can't hide. That's the title of the episode. COVID-19 and the moral rot we can't hide. And I'm going to be talking about a couple of things which I'm not going to reveal in this episode. If you want to know more about the coming episode, sign up to my newsletter. And that's true, yes, I have a newsletter now. Yay! I'll link everything in the description of I'll link everything in the description of this here podcast. But I have a newsletter now. Follow me on my social media handles. The podcast now has its own Instagram account, which is at Volatile with Daniel. That is it. Or you can just search for Volatile Times with Daniel. Instagram, follow me on Instagram at Volatile with Daniel. You'll be receiving updates. You'll be seeing some pure good content, design kind of stuff, all those kind of things. So I'm not sure I reviewed every single thing there is to know about me, which I don't think I should even try to in the first place. But I think I answered enough questions about me. Yeah, I think anybody listening to this will get a feel of what kind of person I am, just from the way I talk, the way I address issues, the questions I answered, the questions I selected, and every single thing. And thank you so much for every single person who has been listening to every episode so far. God bless you. I love you guys so much. You guys have been such an encouragement. You guys have been such... I feel like crying right now, sincerely. Like sometimes when I think about it, like somebody is listening. People are listening. It's such a huge thing for me, because there was a time in my life where I felt nobody was listening, or I didn't even deserve to be listened to. And to do this and have people listening to me is such a big deal for me. Somebody in their head might be like, but you don't have up to 500 listens right now. Sincerely, that is not what's important to me, because I'm so happy I have you guys here. I'm so happy I have this community, and I hope this will continue to grow. I hope this will become better. I hope I hope we get to know each other more, which is why I want you guys to sign up to my newsletter. Sign up to my mail list. Sincerely, I conflate both things, even though they are not supposed to mean the same thing. Sign up to my mail list or my newsletter so that we can get in touch with each other. We can have more private conversations. We can get to know each other. I'll know when your birthday is and be able to wish you a happy birthday, shout you out on the group and all that. So, it's just, that's basically it. So thank you very much again for listening. Thank you so very much for those who sent in their questions. Those of you that threw shade with your questions, I know you. I know you. Okay, so see you guys in the next episode. You understand? Tell me what you like about me. Thank you all like about me on social media. Share it in your stories and tag me. Use the hashtag. I'll find everybody, whether it's on Twitter, whether it's on Instagram. Spread the word about this podcast. Let's grow this community, shall we? Let's grow. Bye-bye.